Well,
All right.
just on time.
All right. Hello, guys. We have a little different setup. Right. Right. Hi, Nick. By the way, you popped in at perfect time. We just started stream.
Perfect
We
timing.
got all the lads. We have an edition of Norwegian Jesus this time. We're gonna be doing our Rings of Power episode 3 review and kind of doing an explained analysis or whatever. And this guy's looking like an idiot right here.
What do you mean?
Also, let me know how the audio is, because we are doing like both of us are kind of trying to use the same mic, so it's a little
Kind of goblin.
interesting.
It's a goblin mic.
Let's read some chat before we delve into some things. Somehow the episode was worse, so boring. Basically, nothing happened. Continue to butcher the character and. I agree.
I like the goblin in the background you guys got.
Yeah,
that's a prop. That's a prop. Don't you worry. That is a prop.
It's a real life goblin right there.
So I'm going first on this one because no one wanted to go first, which, you know, it's whatever.
You got to save the best for last, which is why I'm going last, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I will say, this has spoilers. So, you know, if you don't want to get spoiled, don't, do it. Hi, Matthew. How are you? But I'm going to give you my initial reactions to it. And I thought, A, it was boring. Like, I just wasn't that entertained. 2, I thought it was pretty lackluster. Like, the fight scenes were pretty whatever. Like, the errand. How do you say his name, Brett?
Arondir.
Arondir. I thought that whole scene was, like, just bad. Like, the whole time I was just sitting there like, where's the dude with the bows? And then he comes out at the end.
Can't believe the guy who isn't into Lord of the Rings here actually knows their names.
Dude, here's the thing.
There's
an echo, FYI. Okay, is it noticeable, Jesse? Like, how bad? How bad? Because we kind of knew there was gonna be an echo. Let me turn down volume so maybe you can't hear it as much. What? Okay. All right. Do we have an echo right now?
Yes, it's even worse.
Who's it coming off?
No, it was Logan. I think we're good now. I don't hear anything now because I was hearing it the whole time I was talking.
No, it's still there.
Yeah, I still hear the echo.
You guys still hear it, but we muted Logan, so he shouldn't hear it.
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Dude, bot stream.
Okay, when Logan starts, we'll unmute. But so getting into everything else, I will say the Harfoots. I want to get into them right off the bat. I thought the Harfoots were they're always endearing to me. I think they're interesting. I like them, right? But they just don't provide anything to the story. Like, they're just very useless, right? Like, I don't. Every time we go to the Harfoots, I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, Matthew, stop trolling. Stop trolling. Thank you, Jesse, by the way. And I don't know, the Harfoots, like, they're interesting, they're funny when they're on screen, but they don't serve any point to the plot so far. Big keyword, so far. Because I do think, like, the stranger, the Dudo, the giant boy walking around, they're going to tie him into the story somehow. Not sure yet how they're going to do that. I made a video on it, but I don't know. I have my own theories. Some people think he's Gandalf. Some people think he's Sauron. He could be pretty much anybody with magic ability at this point. The lore is kind of very flexible. Something I didn't like about this episode, as we talked about with our episode 1 and 2 review, they took away my favorite part of the entire episode 2. There was no dwarves. Well, I guess in Numenor there was like one guy, I think it was maybe a dwarf or one of the smiths. I don't even know. He just sounded kind of dwarvish.
I don't think he was a dwarf.
Okay, then we didn't get any dwarves in this episode. We didn't get Elrond either.
Holy shit, I just realized that the whole.
Yeah, so
Doobie Howser.
I think like one of the stronger points of episode 2, they kind of didn't really give us much.
We actually did get Elrond in the form of a painting.
Oh, that's true. It wasn't great. Wasn't great. But Galadriel, she's just there was a certain reveal, okay, where they're like sitting here and Galadriel's like, this isn't a sigil, it's like the directions to, this Mount Doom, all that stuff, to Mordor, basically, right? And I'm just sitting here like, and they're like building this up as like it's a big reveal that Sauron he's like the next one after Morgoth and all that. It's like Galadriel kind of already knew this. She was hunting for Sauron already. Like, this isn't some big reveal. Like, Galadriel shouldn't be shocked by that part of it. Like, the meeting of where they're all gonna be, that's the reveal for Galadriel. But the whole build up that Sauron's like, oh, he's the guy now. It's like not really a reveal. I thought that was kind of odd to me. There was some dialogue in this episode that I thought was just borderline bad. Not borderline, just bad. There were some things about this episode that just kind of bothered me. Numenor, when we got to see the capital, was pretty cool. I think it looked pretty good. I think visuals again are always very good in this show, but they were all pretty good.
There was one bit of visual that I will go on.
Yeah. I know what visual he's talking about. I'm gonna save it. So visually, for the most part, the episode was fantastic looking. The capital was very cool looking. Is it Harbrand or something like that? That's with Galadriel. Who's the like
Halbrand.
Man? Okay.
Halbrand.
Yeah, I think that's his name.
I like his character, and it's because I think he's another character that I don't know. I guess I'll give my theory. I think that's Sauron. If you want my honest opinion, I know it's kind of a weird one, but there's like so many things that like nod to him. Like, okay, he's looking at a smith. He's really good at being a smith. Sauron's kind of that. Right, that's one of his big things when it comes to the Rings of Power.
Sauron?
Yeah, I think he's Sauron, and he seems like kind of edgy, and he seems very deceptive and like kind of a lying type. And for the people that knows what happens in Numenor, some big things happen there, right? So I think that is an interesting plot out of the Numenor. Like every time Galadriel's on screen, she just looks like a bitch. Like she just. Every time, like she can never say anything that's like constructive or is like a cool character. Like it's the same thing the entire time. But I don't know. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else in the episode that I wanted to talk about. There was a lot of like filler. I feel like in this episode.
I don't know if Arondir.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So he was one of the plots I liked the most from the first two episodes. This episode was a mixed bag. I liked the start of it where it's like I liked the way they portrayed like the goblins or the orcs, and kind of they kind of played on the horror aspect again, which I thought was really kind of cool. They kind of made them very unique. And in Lord of the Rings, I love that series, don't get me wrong, but they're very like one-dimensional almost, right? Where like they are very basic from goblin to goblin or whatever. So I kind of like that they kind of fleshed them out. They all kind of look different. They all look kind of cool. But there were certain scenes in there, like there's the scene when our boy's like buddy, I guess, his comrade, basically gets his throat slit, and it was the most anticlimactic death I think I've ever seen.
Like a 20-minute buildup of water.
this is the scene. This is the scene. The water is my phone. It's like, drink the water. Everybody stares for like a good minute and a half.
There's a lot of water drinking.
Then they start sipping on that water.
They like sip a little.
45 seconds.
Yeah, and then he's like, okay, wait, let me just.
And they're all passing around Dasani to each other.
and then it goes to the next thing. And we're just sitting here like, okay, we know something's going to happen. But and then it goes to the other guy. And I just know we're just like, it was just funny because it's like we don't care about this elf. Like
First
I
off, who
didn't
the hell
even.
is this elf?
Dude, I'm assuming it's his buddy from like episode 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember because I don't care about them.
I think those are the elves at the watchtower or whatever. But I wonder how did they all get captured?
I don't know. It was a really.
Did they all fall down the same hole?
It was really yeah.
These elves kind of suck. I'm not even gonna lie.
These elves, like you said, are more like a Keebler elf than they are Lord of the Rings.
The elves are so like
Literally.
they're supposed to be majestic, like cool fighters and all that. But then it's like, yes, we see that at times, and other times they're just like, no. The elves are like basic men. Like think about Osgiliath when the orcs are coming over, and they're just beating the shit out of these Gondor knights. That's basically what we saw at times from these elves. It was laughable at times, but
They're like clumsy in this episode too. Like.
so like, Arondir's story was like, I liked it at parts, and then the ending I just thought was bad. I thought the ending was just bad. I thought the tension they were trying to build with his storyline was just not great. I thought it was like
This is how I'd explain it. You remember the movie Holes when they're all just digging holes? That is about
Mhm.
the elf storyline
Yes,
of this episode.
yes. It was
That's a
like
great movie with Shia LaBeouf. I highly recommend watching it
I'm
if you
just sitting here
haven't
like,
already.
what is going on? What is going on? Like, it's just yeah. So the episode for a whole for me, not a lot happened for the most part. It was an episode where it's like, you guys should know this character. Isildur's on screen. Let's show off Isildur doing things.
A boat daydreaming.
Okay, and then, oh, we see Numenor, but not a lot happens.
And then they leave Numenor, and she's like,
Well,
"Quarters day ride."
She technically doesn't leave Numenor. She leaves the capital because of the whole area.
Okay.
But yes, the interesting part of Numenor, she just skeets out in literally 15 minutes. She's like,
Yeah.
Galadriel's a
Nah.
whole moody teenager in this
dude,
episode.
Galadriel sucks. Every time she's
I
on
do
screen,
not like her.
Every single sentence at first, like, "You did not tell me. How dare you?"
she's just like the whole time she's just like, bro, these people don't know what I've been through. They like, I'm just,
You don't understand.
she's just bad. Like, I don't want to see her on screen. Like, let's rewrite the lore and just have her die. Like, I just don't care about her character at all. They put her in probably the most interesting place, and she still managed to not be fun at all. We see Elendil, which was pretty cool. I think that was a good casting, I will say. I think he played the
that?
role. That is Isildur's dad.
Okay.
That's the commander dude
Yeah.
that rescues them on the boat.
I like him.
Also, okay, chat, clear this up for us. So, when our boy, right, that's with Galadriel, like, goes to hug the dude, Elendil, does he pickpocket his dagger or something? Like, where does this
In
dagger
front of
come
80
from?
people. In front of 80 people, he pickpockets it.
Like-
Nobody saw it.
I think that's actually Galadriel's dagger she had.
Yeah, but I'm
And he
kind of
probably
thinking
took
that
it from her
he
whenever
gave it.
they rescued them at sea.
Either way, though, in front of like 80 people, and like they're
Oh,
all watching
yeah.
them because this is like a big order of people like discussing
They're
these people
probably
in
all
front of
staring
them.
at the elf. They hate elves. Like, let's be honest here.
Also, you guys kind of answer some of your own questions with Matthew and Jesse on the ruling of Numenor, but yes.
Matthew, that's a question I want to know.
I would like to know how a squadron of elite elves got captured by orcs in the beginning. Okay, see, this is the problem. Episode 1, they did the exact same thing with the snow troll. It's not capturing, but like this troll just bitch slaps all of these elite elves, and then Galadriel's just like,
There's just like a common theme in a lot of shows these days where something cool be happening and everybody just stands around.
it's
So I
like
assume everybody was
Yeah.
just standing around and the goblins led them into a hole and captured them.
Like,
That's how I imagine.
these elves were also, they left. So, because that's the whole thing, right? Because Arendir's like, okay, I don't want to leave. I'm gonna go with my boo, and
babe.
then they all like leave, right? Because they were abandoning their post or whatever. Because they got orders, right? So did they get captured on the way somehow? Did they captured at night? Is that maybe how it happens? Because as we see, these goblins or orcs can't really go in sunlight. So I would wonder how these elves got captured in the first place.
They were tricked.
Sauron just takes what he wants. That's correct. That is correct. But I don't know. So I guess I'm kind of done with my review. There's not a lot of talk about in this episode, in my opinion. Like, there was a lot of, okay, this happened. All right, next scene. Like, it was a lot of there's certain contrivances. I would probably say it was like, if I'm being nice, it's a 6, where it just stayed where the rest of the show has been, because I've kind of been throughout the entire show where I'm like, things are just happening to happen, and it's been kind of not that interesting to me. So I'd say either it stays at a 6 for me, or it would go down to a 5. I'd say I'm in that realm of thinking. But yeah, okay, so going second. Who wanted to go second? Nick, you want to go second? Since you weren't on the
Sure, I
last
can go
stream?
second. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Nick, give your thoughts on the episode. What'd you think?
All right. So overall, like, should I do my rating first, or just like go through what I think of like each part of the episode?
Say rate it last.
Okay. So in the episode, I'll definitely say my favorite part was the goblins themselves. Like, they were cool. Like, how they looked, their design.
Dude, the goblins
Really
were just
enjoyed that.
absolutely dripping.
They were dripping in the sauce, and I loved it. And seeing the Numenorians, that was cool too. But there was just so many weird scenes in this episode. Like it was just like the water scene that was mentioned. That was like just so drawn out. There was a scene with Galadriel just riding a horse in slow motion, but it was like so awkward. Like I don't know what they were doing with this like cinematography. So that kind of brought it down. Uh, it was just so much filler, honestly. I was like, that it felt like unstructured. You know? Does that make
I
sense?
agree to that. It does feel
Yeah,
unstructured. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of like focus, like direction.
there really wasn't. Kind of like my review right now.
Oh, hold on. Nick, introduce yourself. Jesse wants you to introduce yourself.
Oh, my bad. So I'm Nick. I like Lord of the Rings.
He is probably the second most knowledgeable in the chat on the lore.
Big fan of Lord of the Rings and Tron. Tron is probably his second big.
Oh,
If you
you
guys,
know, don't even get me started on Tron.
if any of you guys watched the old Lord of the Rings videos, he was on a couple of those. So yeah.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead, Nick.
throwback. All right. And like, my biggest issue with the show as a whole is definitely how they portray Galadriel. She's just not wise at all, and she's kind of just like just mean to everybody. She's kind of like not very nice to anybody at all. I don't understand why they made her that way.
The mean bitch.
She really is a bitch.
Nick, you haven't read A Song of Ice and Fire, correct? You've read the first like Game of Thrones. Have you?
Yeah. Yeah, I've read the first book.
Okay, there you go, Young Wolf. There's your answer.
But I do want to read more of it because it's interesting.
Oh God, Tron, it's okay.
I just want to clear up. I'm not a big Tron guy, actually.
By the way, Jesse, I am the only one in here that has read the A Song of Ice and Fire all the way
Can
through.
I just ask for a moment
Agreed,
of silence
Persephone.
for the queen?
Oh. Well, anyways.
Okay, go ahead, Nick.
So,
Yeah, thank you for the time.
so my rating for this show, this episode, I would definitely give it like a 5 tops. Like it was pretty boring, I'm not gonna lie. And they had some cool reveals in there, don't get me wrong. And they had a couple interesting parts, like the Harfoots. They don't, like Eric said, they didn't really provide
The
any
Harfoots
like
existed.
That's
they
true.
didn't do anything. They're kind of just there, but they're always pretty entertaining on the screen, if you ask me. I know a lot of people don't like them, like in general, but I don't know. They're quirky little guys, you know. So yeah,
Okay,
that's pretty
that's
much
fair.
all I have to say. Like this episode kind of just left me a little disappointed, and I'm kind of at a loss for words.
That's fair.
So what would
Yeah.
be your rating of the episode?
Oh, like a 5 tops.
Okay. Oh.
Okay, Luke, you're up.
So I think, honestly, so the first 2 episodes that I went in watching, I went in with no hope, no faith, naturally pessimistic. I thought it would be shit. I liked the first 2 episodes. I thought they were enjoyable.
Hold on. He gave the first he gave episode 2 a 7. Let's remember that, guys.
I gave it a 7. I'm not big into the Lord of the Rings lore. I've watched the 3 movies and I watched The Hobbit and I've read the Hobbit book. That's all I've read. I haven't read the Silmarillion and I haven't read any of the other things. And I enjoyed it. I knew that they changed some of the lore up. But I enjoyed the episodes. I thought they were good. This episode was a complete wash for me. I thought it was absolute shit. It was so boring. The whole every single time I was more interested in the chair I was sitting in than I was the actual show. I think my biggest gripe was Arendor. Is that how you pronounce it, Brett? Arendir. Okay, I'm gonna say Arendir. His story, I think, was a complete disappointment. I was hyped up. I was like, oh, shit, he got kidnapped. We're going to see some gobbies, some little goblin gamers, running on the walls, probably like screaming at the camera.
You got to see the Goblin Den.
little. I was gonna. I was like,
that head right there.
I thought I was gonna see a whole bunch of little of these guys, just like crawling all over the walls, going goblin mode. And then when we actually see him, like I said, it's just the movie holes. He's in a hole on the ground with other elves who also got kidnapped. A whole bunch of Keebler elves digging holes, and their whole plot is drinking water and trying to dig up a tree's roots. You see them at the beginning of the episode. You see them at the end of the episode. The beginning of the episode is them drinking water, and then an elf gets his throat slit. After like 6 elves take a drink of this water, they just choose to kill that
third one.
Yeah, it's whatever. So like after 20 elves are drinking out of this water, this little Dasani water bottle. It says Dasani on the side. They actually got a sponsorship. After about 20 elves digging through this water, like backwash, they just randomly just they kill him. Okay, why'd you choose him? Why not the guy who was actually being yelling at the goblins? So then they're like, okay, well, we see you mean business. We're gonna go tear this tree down. And first off, why are the goblins wanting to? If the camera pans out, and you see this tree, right, in the middle of a barren wasteland where all the other trees are gone, and it's basically completely flatlands. The goblins dug their tunnel directly into this tree's roots. You're telling me these are the goblins that kidnapped and confused all these elves and got them in the hole? The same goblins that are digging directly when they're digging this hole, they could see like 3 miles down the line. Hey, there's a tree over there. They don't want to turn their tunnel a little bit. No. They dig straight up to it. They finally get to it, and they're like, hey, we gotta chop this tree down. It's in the way. Chopping the tree down is not the problem. It's digging these like 30-foot long roots out of the ground. So the elf, after one of his elf buddies gets killed, he's like, Arendor's like, I'm gonna chop this tree down. Okay.
Wait, I want to pause you there because I forgot to mention this. Okay, this was some of the worst dialogue in the entire episode. They're basically like, okay, they're like, there's this tree here, right? Now, logical, like what Luke said, let's go around, correct? They mentioned that once, okay? The older dude's like, okay, let's go around, the tree's in the way, right? And then immediately after, he just drops it. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to talk about how this tree's been here for so long and it's so sacred. You're talking to goblins. They don't give a shit about your tree. They would, honestly, because you brought that up, they'd rather you chop down the fucking tree. It was so mind-boggling that they were trying to, like, talk like that. It was so illogical. Okay, all right, go back.
It's just like literally back to the water scene. It's like, this is like the peak of the elf story in the beginning, is them passing around a water bottle going, taking a sip, passing it to the next elf, and it's like, first off, why are you trusting goblin water? Would any of you guys, even though this is the Grease Goblin channel, be drinking goblin water? Like,
only if it was nice and greasy.
Dude, that's the Dasani water in there.
It's like, what? Okay, so that's the first half of the the climax. The second half of their Arendir story is we see the trees chopped down. The roots are still there, and they're just back to picking rocks again. They're still not working on the tree. They're just like digging at rocks a little bit. Then they get they start to rebel against the goblins, and they're doing like magic tricks, well, not magic, but they're doing like athletic things, jumping over chains, chopping chains, and wrapping chains around goblins' throats. And then they get into like a tug of war match with the goblins. Like, genuinely, you see them do like tug of war, like, a high school. So then got Arendur, he jumps on the chains, knocks down this little tunnel entrance, and it's all sunny, and oh no, goblins, they get scared, they go back in the cave, and a warg comes out. And the cinematography of this show was good, I think, in the first 2 episodes. This episode has had some very, very shit angles and cinematography. The warg, I
agree,
was like the CGI of Attack of the Clones, 2003, 2002. It did not look right. It looks so cheap, so fake. And it's coming at them, going crazy, going wild. And then, so they somehow, it jumps into the roots of the tree, and it gets stuck in there, and they chain it up kind of. And then the elves go for the elf leader guy. He's the leader of the tower or whatever Arendelle is stationed at. I assume that's the same guy. I assume it's the same
watch
guy.
Captain, I guess, is what his title would be.
Watch captain. He's running out of the hole, and Arendir's like, go, you gotta run out of this hole. And he's fighting goblins off. And the goblins are basically just good old chain choppers and playing a war. Yeah, exactly. And the goblins are just basically just like, they're all like laying on the ground, like, just watching this elf climb out of the hole. Arendor, he gets away from the goblins and climbs out this hole, and he's just sitting there watching the watch captain, who just slowly turns around with an arrow in his chest, and then another one hits him. Where are these arrows coming from? They don't say. They don't show.
Also, none of this battalion of orcs has a single one with a fucking bow.
That's what I'm saying.
What are they doing?
So we've not seen a bow with these orcs yet, and then there's arrows flying, like, not out of the hole. It's just coming, like, one hit him in the front when he was running, and then he turns around, and then one hits him in the front again. So there's got to be someone shooting on arrows on both sides of this area. You know, when he's running this way, and then when he turns back around, he gets hit in the chest. But they don't say who shoot. Hopefully, we may see this in the next episode, that there's just like a couple of goblins hiding in some tree somewhere that they've never showed yet. But as far as like cinematography goes, the whole them drinking water for 20 minutes. Then there's like when Galadriel's like, "You're telling me there's this archive? It's only a quarter of a day's ride." There's like a 15-minute scene of like close zoom ups on the horse's ass, and then it like zooms up on like her face. And
that
then...
was the worst scene I think in the episode.
It really was.
It's literally like it's like think about it like this. Okay, I'm gonna take the webcam. This is what it was. Just slow panning, just of around us while we're moving. That's what it was.
Not to mention, it was literally like 5 minutes long of that, like straight. Like, what are they doing?
Okay, so Jesse says they did show an orc. I must have missed it.
I didn't see the orc either, but yeah.
I wanna go back and see what the orc was thinking. Like the whole time, he didn't shoot an arrow until that moment. Either way, like you said, it's still cheesy. Either way, but it's just like, okay, whatever. And there's a whole like slow camera scenes of it fading in and out of Galadriel on her horse. Literally hitting him sell arrows. I can't think of.
Yeah, I don't know why they did the slow-mo and overused reaction shots. They did that a lot in this episode, and I don't really get it.
I also want to do an honorable mention of some of the worst dialogue like I've ever seen in a TV show was when they were on the boat and Galadriel's like, "Where are we going?" And the guy's like, "Oh, you'll see when we get there. We're almost there." And then the other guy's like, "And where is that?" Like he just said.
I think he was
like,
expecting
we're going
an actual
home.
answer because he's a human and she's an elf.
Well, it was stupid regardless.
There's
Like if he wanted her to know, he would just tell her.
Here's the
Like, why
problem.
would he
Here's the
tell him,
problem.
like, run a-
We find out later in this episode that the humans fine with elves anyway.
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
mean, it's true is.
There was just like a
You
lot
know-
of just like, I don't know.
You
Just
know,
all this-
that's we find out that is treasonous to help an elf.
My
apparently,
man.
Which is
Yeah.
This whole thing was just stupid. It was stupid in my opinion. But then the Harfoot story. I thought the Harfoots, you know, they served their purpose. They were there for the good comedic relief.
They had fantastic little costumes going
Yeah,
on.
they were like, you know, like doing the little like, you know, Harfoot marches, and they were dancing and what, being like, "We're gonna walk this trail. Don't leave the trail, and no one walks alone." And then they immediately go to talk about how they're leaving people behind. So it's just like they're literally like, "Nobody walks alone. Nobody walks alone." Opens the book. So these are all the people we have left behind. Let's just reminisce. It's like, what? It goes like,
it's crazy. They kind of turned into assholes, honestly.
it was horrifying. Like, just think about like if let's say in real life we had to do this big journey.
Okay, I got you. So think about, guys, the Oregon Trail, okay? And we have a convoy, and it's basically like, you go down, we ain't coming back.
It's not like an "I'm sorry." It's like, no, like, we know you're probably not gonna make it. So we're gonna put you in the back of this line, and then when we get there, we're gonna just be like, man, those are some good guys. Because literally, you see, like, when they start on their migration trail, there's like the main family of the Harfoots, like Brandy or whatever that we're following, like the Brandyfoots or something.
Yeah, I think.
The Bumble Boars or whatever. Like, they're in the back of the line, and they're like sluggishly carrying their stuff because the dad's got a broken foot. They're like,
He did like a 720 twist on his ankle.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, his foot like wrapped around like a spaghetti noodle, and like they're slowly carrying their stuff, and there's like 8 Harfoots in front of them, just dancing, completely nothing in their hands, just like we're going on this adventure. Meanwhile, he's in the back, like, "Oh my god, please don't leave me." It's just stupid. It's just stupid.
But you
Okay.
know what? They have funny, quirky costumes, so they
That's
get
what
a
I'm saying.
pass.
Like their whole thing is just absolute just comedy. It's just whatever.
Like it's
They're honestly one
yeah.
of my favorite parts of the show, if I'm being honest.
Now, okay, this is what I want to. I've been looking at. I looked at this after you guys left because I wanted to confirm what I saw. A lot of people are saying this episode is like way better than the last two, and I'm like,
Are they insane?
I'm
Hey,
like,
call me insane because I agree with that.
Brett, you're
What?
crazy. Okay,
What?
dude,
Oh,
Hey,
how did this go from Brett being in last stream? Brett was like, he was the worst. He gave it a 5.
it's
And
still
now-
a 5,
Oh,
but it's still better than the.
slightly better fight?
No, actually, it might be a 6.
like
But
I
I
it's
would.
Oh,
Okay, wait.
my
I'm
God.
curious, Brett, because what makes you think this episode was better? I'm just
okay.
curious.
Whoa, it's not his
because
turn
it
yet.
was.
Wait,
Brett, it's not your
because
turn
It
yet.
actually had
Oh, wait,
we're doing Logan's
something
turn.
of
Ah.
interest in it.
Okay, well, yeah, I
Compared to
forgot
Nothing
because Luke,
happened.
you haven't gone yet.
Okay,
I thought
okay.
you liked
Luke,
this.
Luke, give your rating and then talk
5.
about
I get a
anything else.
5. I'm 5. I'm ready. My part has ended. I'm ready to pass on the torch.
Eric, wasn't there
Okay.
something you wanted to go back to?
I don't
I thought
know.
you mentioned something.
I don't remember.
Yeah, no,
We're not
you-
gonna worry about it. Okay, so we have a special guest for you guys. Okay, you might have heard us name dropping him a couple times. You see, he's gonna go next, but it is the Grease Goblin mascot, and give me a
Whenever-
second. He is about to be introduced into said time, but it is Logan. He's right behind us. He's in the Goblin mask. Awaken. That's not an actual prop.
Awaken, Goblin.
That wasn't a prop.
Yeah, no, my neck
No,
is
go
not
back
done.
further. Go back further. 'Cause
You
you're
gotta
gonna...
go back further.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Anyways, I'll say this episode was pretty mediocre, pretty bland. Galadriel just reminded me of a rip-off version of Daenerys with how she's acting like a brat coming into a new kingdom and all that. And then something that brought up was I'll give a shout out to the Grease Horde and their drip of bone armor, the Goblins drip. So their armor was pretty good, but overall the whole episode, in my opinion, was like a mediocre ripoff of Game of Thrones with the Glandriel's part. How it was kind of like more political to where it just reminded me of Daenerys, where she was trying to establish like power, where she's coming from, and all that as well. There, it was just boring, bland, mediocre overall with it. And then whenever they're digging up the tree root as well, that was kind of a stupid scene in my opinion because they could have just digged around it and all that instead of just and all they just did is like we said earlier, they just chopped down the tree. They didn't do anything with the roots at all. And then the one elf lady, she tried to fight the one wolf thing. She didn't even go to stab it. She just tried to hit it with the blunt part of the spear, which was dumb. But yeah, it was just boring rip off Game of Thrones. That's how I felt about this episode. Real bland, nothing new, generic.
What's your
Especially-
rating, sir?
Oh, it's awful. I'll say 3.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I just got
you-
tired of the generic. Oh, this important friend died or something. Let's just do a slow mo shot. No one really cares about him. I didn't even pay attention to the entire episode. And it was just boring. All you just know is elves are in a hole. They all die in it except for one. The goblins have awesome armor, wearing number bone, and then Glandriel is just rip off Daenerys. That's it.
The thing
Okay.
that saved the episode for me was Elendil.
that's fair.
For me, it was the goblin armor at the end.
Oh yeah, the goblins. Are
I
cool.
like how they
Yeah.
made them all like kind of unique.
Yeah.
It's not something we see a lot.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
about seeing him
that
back
too.
there. You heard of Elf on the Shelf? Here's Goblin on the Noblin or whatever.
Dude, I can't believe how still you were the entire time. Like I
Yeah.
was watching the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, this man's
My
not
neck was
breathing.
hurting
He's
so
not
bad. That's all
breathing
I'm
back
saying,
there.
neck.
Where did you even get that
Neck
mask?
might-
Not a flea
Huh?
market.
Yeah.
Oh. How many
But,
fleas were
yeah.
there?
Probably a lot.
I also think Sauron saved it if that is who Sauron is.
Yeah, I assume it is, but I'm still holding doubt, honestly.
Oh, wait.
Wait,
Even though
who's
they
talking
kinda,
right
like-
now? So the person that was giving the review that entire time was this man.
Hello.
He's also the one that we kind of have to be a little bit on the echo part, because yeah.
Yeah. Sorry
Hmm.
about that.
Did you talk about Adar?
Arendir? Oh, Adar. Oh
That's
yeah,
who
yeah.
you think it is at the
Oh,
end.
Sauron.
oh. Okay, chat. Who is the character we see at the end? Right, like Adar. Who is that? Like they keep saying it's like a Sauron maybe, or it's a leader of the orcs, but I think it's a tease. There's no way they're revealing Sauron like that. It's just not.
They're saying it's a Dobby the house elf.
It does look like
Maybe
that.
it's
I won't lie.
like
Okay, hold on.
maybe it's like the mouth of Sauron.
No, this is not Dobby the house elf. This is our local grease goblin.
Hello.
Logan, I muted you on for stream for purposes. Okay, but I don't know who Adar is. I think it could be maybe like a Nazgul or something, but I don't.
They said
The Nazguls aren't a
Adar
thing yet.
is a name for Sauron, one of his many names.
I know, but like it just can't be Sauron. Like I'm
It'd
with
be kind of anticlimactic.
It
if they
just
like,
can't be
reveal him
Sauron.
like
My
that.
brother in Christ. I mean, we watched the same show. We know that there's plot holes.
no, I'm not saying like it can't be Sauron as in like lore and stuff wise. I'm literally saying like as a story and a plot, that is not how you reveal your big villain. That's supposed to be a quote unquote mystery that
I
they've
don't
been building
know.
up for 3 episodes.
Oh, that's like Galadriel though. She's like she knows that Sauron's exist, and then in this episode she finds out about like the successor of Morgoth. And she's like,
So
oh,
my thing about that scene is that I think Galadriel discovers that Sauron's plan is just more along than she thought it was. So they're in that their
that's what I
demise is
hope.
imminent.
I hope so. But okay,
Yeah, the
I
scene
will
just
point
made
this
it
out.
feel like it was stupid.
Matthew, I really do actually hope it's the mouth of Sauron because he has a very loose backstory. It's a character that it's like, we know he's a black Numenorian. That's it. That's his backstory, right? Before he comes to Sauron's service or whatever. So I think that'd be a really cool character to introduce where he doesn't have much lore, so you can create and make up things.
I like his smile.
Yeah,
smile.
and
Yeah.
I think it could work as well. But the character looks like elfish. It would
Mhm.
appear in the because we paused it and kind of tried to like piece it together, but
Definitely got the elf ears.
I don't
and they had,
know.
like that Sauron-y looking gauntlet.
because the thing is like
Yeah.
the mouth of Sauron and then the Witch King, they're both like of the human or men race. So I don't know because this character looked very elven, so it could be maybe a corrupted elf, which Jesse points out
It could be another situation of them changing.
could be.
Could be.
Lore, I don't
Like
know.
maybe the mouth is an elf now. Like you never know.
That's
The ears
possible.
of Sauron.
Of course, it's Sauron. I really hope it's not.
I just see the toes of Sauron.
Ears of Sauron.
Oh.
God, oh my god.
So Jesse, yeah, it's like because we know he's a black Numenorian. We know he comes after some things, but I think he's one of those characters where he has a very loose backstory that I'd be pretty okay with him changing it. Not like a character like Galadriel Elrond, where it's like they have a pretty defined backstory. They actually take one that doesn't have an established backstory and kind of But yeah, so I guess that will lead us to our last review of the episode. That'll be Mr. Brett. We saved him for last since he went first last time. We saved the best for last. And I guess go ahead, Brett.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I am kind of worried because my internet is super bad. So I just hope I don't disconnect or cut out. But I mean, I already said the one thing I was gonna say about Galadriel, the fact that that scene where she discovers Sauron and whatnot. Yeah, I think they were just trying to play it up that Sauron's plan was just further along than she originally thought, and so she was just kind of freaked out about that. Nothing really else to say about her. But
Mode.
I really liked Arondir's little storyline he has going. It did feel hella rushed though. I wish they would have drawn out more on the whole forced labor aspect and more of their struggles instead of just
You're a big fan.
instead of immediately being thrown into there and then just trying to escape. And I think the scene with the tree and why that was a huge deal is that I think the orcs, I mean, sorry, the goblins were trying to use it as more of a display of dominance and submission to the elves because the elves are just like crazy about nature and whatnot, and destroying nature is just, you know, just a sin. They can't do that. So the goblins were trying to be like, yeah, you guys are fucked. Destroy this tree. So I don't really think they the goblins cared whether or not they went around the tree. Is more of a, you know, you guys are you're just fucked.
Definitely, but I just still think it's funny
Yeah.
to imagine the goblins the whole time are just like, just straight past towards that tree, and now they're like, well, shit.
Yeah.
I can imagine
like,
what's
"Aw,
funnier
man."
rather than what's probably actually accurate. Like the
I,
hard.
I really I really wish they would have drawn that, like, just the whole storyline out a lot more, because I feel like it had a lot of potential,
I
It
agree.
did.
The
and
goblin
it
story.
just felt super rushed. And then yeah, there was a lot of plot holes in that whole fight, and like you rush to escape, especially with those arrows. Like, I thought the goblins didn't like the sun. Where the fuck would these goblins be?
I don't
What if
know.
the viewer said they showed a
Yeah.
goblin? I'm curious as to like where you see them at.
You mean
I'm
the
gonna have to
orc?
like rewind that and
So,
see.
Jesse, you're the one that said that, right? Where do you see the goblin with the bow? Were they also in the hole, or were they like somewhere outside? Or
Because if they're in the goddamn hole, I'm gonna have some major
'cause
gripes.
if they're in the hole, how did he get hit in the front? Unless he got hit in the front, turn around, ran,
Yeah,
froze, turned back around, got hit in the front again.
Well, my thing with if
yeah.
they were in the hole, it's like, why wasn't this guy shooting at elves that were literally like, basically killing or attempting to kill, like his fellow goblins or whatever? They were wearing sunblock.
Sunblock.
That explains it.
Very good.
Dude, I'm gonna need to get some sunblock for my D&D character.
Oh, and then Meteor Man. No, okay.
That
So
was disappointing. I kind of wanted to know a little bit more.
Meteor Man
Yeah.
is with the Harfoots, and like the whole, like the other
Yeah.
Harfoot story was like the girl trying to get a page out of the, and then the Meteor Man accidentally burns the page.
That actually, okay, that makes me think about a lot of things. So this guy's just being, I guess,
Okay.
I guess he was just
He reads it right up against the fire.
no,
He's
but like my thing is like, how is this dude like being hidden in this camp? But then as soon as he gets this little page, does he just stay in like a tent all day? Like, I don't understand how this guy is just now getting discovered. Like, I don't know.
it's like Clifford the Big Red Dog, you know?
Yeah, it's like
literally
I feel like it's pretty obvious, you know. Okay, let me look. So if you look in the background, they were out of the hole, maybe standing in another pit, but they were in the sunlight.
I guess I just must.
Were they
have
wearing
missed-
like hoods and
are you saying
whatnot?
like whenever like the camera zooms out and you see like the wasteland or something? Was it where you see the background, or was it like when you actually see the scene of him getting shot in the chest? You saw.
Zen book. I have not seen what Aemond looks like for House of the Dragon, and then also, I think it's probably gonna go 3 to 4 seasons. I don't know. There were so many things in this episode that weren't explained, that felt rushed,
I
that
just
like
want more goblins.
just seemed. I'll be honest. At this point, I just want to see Sauron just beat the living shit out of these characters. Like, I just wanted to like rise to power and just start hitting people with his mace. Just.
I just want Durin and Disa to return. That'll make the show better.
Okay, we need to go back to the dwarves. That's
Yeah.
just what needs to happen.
I think
Yeah,
a good like
yeah.
3-hour like long movie of the Harfoot's migration, and it's like done like the Oregon Trail, where it's very gruesome and like
Dude,
disturbing.
I
A family of Harfoots
really
eating each
hate the
other or
Harfoots.
something.
That'd be awesome. I'd watch that.
They're like, you don't
Dude.
leave the migration trail. Nobody leaves his migration trail.
But like, it's bad when like I'm a big like Lord of the Rings like Tolkien fan, and I'm liking House of the Dragon like so much more than this show. Like I like both
Chat will
shows,
like that.
but House of the Dragon is significantly better. And it's not that I don't like George R. R. Martin. I just haven't read the stuff, and I'm enjoying it so much more.
I wish we would have seen the wedding in House of the Dragon Zen book, but we did not. I thought that
I
was a
have no
very
idea what the heck
pivotal
you guys are
plot
talking about
point
right
that,
now.
Just was not. We need to watch. You guys stop reading chat now because they're starting to talk about House of the Dragon. Do you guys think it'll cover up to the Mad King by the end of the series? I mean, no. Eric Thorpe reviews, no, absolutely not. It won't. I think they're
Really?
covering the main Dance of the Dragons plot points, and then depending on how the show does, I could see them building that to that. But as of right now, no. If Sauron decapitated all the elves and eats the Harfoots, I would sacrifice a lamb. I agree, dude. At this point, I'm a big Sauron guy. You know, I came into the show wanting to be an elf guy, but the elves are just boring as shit. So, and Galadriel is like
Dude, if
their.
Legolas isn't in here, I don't care about the elves.
We haven't even seen Legolas's race of elves yet.
That's
Dude, there's
true.
different races of elves.
Oh yeah.
I guess I'm just a racist thinking they're all one. My bad, guys.
I am definitely not even going to give Rings of Power a second viewing. From what I've heard, it's a big it's pretty lore inaccurate so far.
They really don't care about the lore.
The next episode is going to be a lot of more elves drinking water, getting tricked
Jesse,
by goblins.
I'm not going to read
I
that
actually
comment
like
out
this
because I would
episode more
spoil
than the
for
first
people
two.
in that I'm on call with. But the answer to that question is yes.
Oh, wait, can I look at the chat or can I not? Look at...
Don't look at chat.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe
Oh,
Rings of
geez.
Power shut down Peter. Yeah, that's very mind-boggling. But yeah. Okay.
What did it say? I want to know.
Okay.
Don't let the temptation get you, Luke.
The temptation.
I don't even know like how to predict episode 4. Like I just don't. I know where like the Numenor plot's going.
Dude.
Everybody else, I'm just like I don't know
I know
what's
what's
going
going to
on.
happen. The stranger
Yeah.
is going to help the Harfoots. You know, he's helping the migration, and he's going to get a little too helpful and accidentally kill a Harfoot on this migration trail.
That's a good theory.
Oh,
I like
That's where I
that.
think
You
it's
think
going to
so?
go.
He's gonna kill like the lore master Harfoot.
Yeah, the lore master's
I'm
going to be like,
calling
stay in the
No.
back of the line, and he's going to be like, oh, and actually,
He'll be like,
Pops.
oh.
oh, pops it
Literally
off.
turn into a Tuscan Raider and just start.
What's your idea?
Sithis, what are you talking about, sir? I'm confused.
Probably about me or something. I don't fucking know.
Well, I mean, we clearly established in said stream that most people in this call don't know the lore.
I watch movies.
If you're referring to me, I just said there was multiple races of elves, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Just don't think about episode 4. Just go into it. That's what I've been doing. Yeah, that's fair. I've kind of been doing. I did that with episode 3. I was just like, I don't. What your friend said 1 minute ago.
He admitted to not knowing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like he legitimately has not watched the Lord. Like has watched Lord of the Rings movies maybe once a long time ago. Like,
Indeed, I have. I remember nothing about it.
There was lords and
Oh, you know what? Now that you mention it, I think I do.
that's true.
and lore was left behind on the migration trail.
I have no idea where the Harfoots are. The only thing I can think about the Harfoot story is like the stranger gets them involved in said plot. They're gonna migrate to where all of our main characters are, and that's how they're involved.
Oh, what
That's
about
all
this?
I can think.
Stranger looks at the stars and leads them to modern day
Ooh.
Mordor and turns them into Uruk-hai.
Wow.
The first
Blow
Uruk-hai
my
are
mind.
Harfoots. Oh boy. But yeah, you guys have anything else you want to talk about on episode 4 or episode 3? Sorry.
Episode 4.
Oh,
I'd like to get back to what I was discussing.
Oh right. So
I like Halbrand. I like Halbrand's character. I think he's really cool. You know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But we see that obviously he's really good at pickpocketing, which I respect the hustle. You gotta act broke to stay rich.
That's a quote right there.
And
Yes.
yeah. We do actually find out he's
Hi, Casper.
the king of the Southlands, and I thought that was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that.
But you guys are saying he's Sauron?
I think he's Sauron. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think
I
it's
don't know
Sauron,
about
but
that.
I am not an expert at all in this.
I'm going off of
could be.
context clues on where the story has to go,
Well-
and the way they've presented his character so far. He seems like he got some shit going on.
I do think that the stranger is Gandalf.
You think it's Gandalf?
I really
huh?
hope it's not Gandalf because they're gonna
Yeah.
lose me if they reveal him as Gandalf.
I think it's
If
Gandalf.
he's any wizard,
I
I
like
think
the
it's a
idea that
blue
it's
one.
Tom Bombadil, even though it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because
Yeah.
Tom Bombadil is like been in Middle Earth for he's one of the oldest beings in history. So that'd be cool. I kind of would like it. Doesn't make any sense, but this show doesn't seem like it's going for making sense. So I'm down with it.
Tom Bombadil is like a giant. So.
I still don't know who this character is. Can you what's his name?
Are you talking about Tom Bombadil?
Yeah.
That's correct. Okay, Brett, you can continue.
Oh, hold on. I'm looking up
Oh,
this
hold on,
Tom
hold on.
Bombadil character.
So Casper, if you want to rewatch the stream, we've basically been clowning on Rings of Power this entire episode. Like the last stream, I think we were pretty like objective and neutral, and like this man here's like gave it a 7 out of 10. But we really shit on it on this episode. Like it. Blue Wizards, I think, is a very good shout out. Sit-ins. I think that's. I think there was something when I made the video where there's some conflicting evidence, right? So Tolkien in one text says that they come in the third age with the rest of the wizards, and there's another that came out a little bit later after that said they were in there at the second age as well. So yeah, it definitely could be like the blue wizards. Like maybe there was 2 meteors, we don't see them. Maybe we just see the one, but maybe there's another one somewhere.
Ooh.
Or he like splits in half and a second one of them comes out of himself.
I also think it's a new kind of character. Oh, hi Mar, by the way.
Dude, I think this episode was a solid 6 out of 10. I think it's better than the first 2.
That's crazy.
It is.
Yes, Casper.
But I also have I'm ignoring lore, so I don't know if that plays a part in anything because I don't know any of the Lord of the Rings lore.
The bad dialogue and cinematography just really lost me this episode.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Green Goblin.
Oh, Green Goblin. I didn't even. I'm so used.
Green Goblin.
Thank you, Green Goblin. Logan, I still have you muted, so every time you talk, I think you're only talking to Nick. And well, I have you muted for the stream, so when you talk, you're basically just talking to the Discord. Yeah.
Dude, I haven't muted on Discord. I'm gonna be
Hidden
honest.
guy. Sylvan were a branch of cinder.
What is with
elves.
this city? Oh,
So wait, where did the elves like separate? So they all come from the same place?
yes. Like they all come
Ah.
from like Valinor, but they all kind of go their own way. So, like for instance, the elves of Mirkwood, they're different from the elves of say, Rivendell. They're different races of elves.
Okay.
Do different races have like different powers?
I don't know if they have different powers. I know they're like different, as in like when you see the Mirkwood elves, they live like in a forest, whereas yeah. But okay, Brett. So you gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yes, indeed I did. I think it was.
So what was our overall? So
Better.
I said 6 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10, but I'll say 6 out of 10. We love that Iraq support and thank you for the kind words, Mar. Luke, what'd you give it, a 5?
I gave it a 5.
So Nick, you gave it a 5, I think.
Yeah, I did.
Logan, our goblin in the back, gave it a 3.
Little goblin in the back.
So I would say if you averaged them out, we probably gave it a 5.
Just under a 5, I'd say, yeah.
I'd say like a 5-ish range. It was a pretty mediocre episode. I'm gonna be honest. It was just
Yeah.
it was. I don't know. Like that's kind
It
of how I
was
feel about the
rushed.
show.
Nothing really happened.
But this is my problem though. There are 8 episodes, right? And we're already 3 episodes in,
Wow.
All right.
and the
Well,
plot
that's
hasn't
probably why they're.
the plot
That's probably
hasn't
why it
really
felt-
kicked
feels
off.
rushed then.
Like you guys, you got to think about when we get done with episode 4 next week. We are halfway through the season.
Oh my god.
Like,
They spent $1 billion on this show. I just
One
want to
more
point
billion
this out.
dollars on.
that's amazing to me because like I just don't. You know what I thought was interesting is I was listening to a video and there's a lot of actors, like major actors, that turn down roles in this show, which I thought was really interesting because do you know they would have been getting paid out the asshole with this $1 billion.
Can you name a few?
I can't actually name a few. I heard about it on a YouTube podcast. I was listening.
Let me see if I can find some.
There was
What if
somebody
they approached
somebody was
Elijah
differently.
Wood?
Look up who was gonna play Elrond because it was supposed to be a different actor. I think it was also for Gil-galad too. They were gonna have a different actor as well. Halfway through the season and nothing has happened. Yep.
Harfoot twist ankle. That was about.
That was pretty
We've
spicy.
seen some fireflies die.
Yeah, we saw fireflies. A lot of water. So I will not move past this.
Honestly, like the water thing, like that goblin kind of put him out of his misery if it was Dasani, because like I'd rather be dead.
Wait, what if that was a water that cut us through in the first place, and that goblin went to go save him, and he just like
Maybe you know what? Maybe the way they like failed it's possible. Got kicked off in episode 1, bro. Could be 3 episodes. Okay, so I will defend Rings of Power on one thing. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, to start off Game of Thrones than it is Rings of Power. Rings of Power is trying to adapt and or condense like 2,000 or 3,000 years into like a condensed time period. So you have a bunch of lore you have to explain, a bunch of things. So I will give Rings of Power the, I guess, credit that like it has to set up a lot of things. Game of Thrones, it's like, yes, you have to set up a lot of things, introduce people into a whole new world and things like that. But Game of Thrones is a story. Like you can design your episodes around how the story goes. Like what they're adapting is not like a congruent story. We don't know what's happening in people's heads, right?
There's
In Rings
just
of
not
Power.
enough episodes to fit everything in.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's
That's
like this show could go if they really had done like the Second Age and what it is in like the Silmarillion, for instance. It could be literally like go on forever, almost, like, you know. But I don't know. I'll give it credit for that. I'll defend it, and it's kind of like House of the Dragon, where it's kind of condensing like time. It has to do a lot of time skips.
Yeah, that's a valid like defense, honestly.
The poopiest show
Very
ever.
poopy.
It's disappointment for an hour. Okay, I will say Game of Thrones season 8 was more disappointing. We're not going to talk about it because
spoilers,
there's
no
people
spoilers.
that these two right here have
No
not watched it,
spoilers.
but
Game of Thrones season 8 just doesn't exist, so I don't know what you're
yeah,
talking
it
about.
doesn't exist, honestly. They should have done the Fall of Arnor. That's what I've been wanting them to do a show on since like I got into Lord of the Rings. Like it's something that like you have a time period you can do it. It's not like a bunch of 1,000 years and do it, and you just do it. If you were rich and got to make a Lord of the Ring film or show it set, yeah, it would be the Fall of Arnor. It would be like the rise of the Witch King, basically.
I would have
That'd be so cool.
having life
Who's
with
this? Who's this
Gollum
Witch King you guys are talking
in a
about?
cave.
So
He's a king, but he's real witty.
he's the leader of the Nazgul, basically, of like
Yeah.
the wraiths.
And who are those?
You know the ring wraith?
Oh my god.
You know, okay, so do you remember in Fellowship of the Ring when Frodo gets stabbed?
Yeah.
the Dementors. Just think of Dementors
Yeah,
from Harry Potter.
yeah.
Oh,
The
okay,
black
okay.
hooded lads, yeah.
Okay. That's all you
You're
had to
such a
One with
say.
like the
millennial, bro.
crown kind of pointy thing.
He's the one that's like, no one gets between a Nazgul and his prey. That
He's all
guy.
like, I'm a witch
That's very
king.
possible, Mar. Yes, Jesse, but I think you can do it. I think it's easier to do the Fall of Arnor like more than it is to just do the entire Second Age. Like it's a lot easier to do.
I want a TV show where it just follows Glorfindel, because he's my favorite character.
Keep going.
Is he the
He's not
Morgoth
actually my
killer?
favorite character, but he's up there.
Let's kill
He's
them
a
all.
cool guy. Yeah.
But I'm trying to think because the other cool ones would be like basically the war with Morgoth, which we got hinted at in the beginning of the season for Rings of Power. But that one again, it's kind of similar to just doing the whole Second Age, really. I don't know. I think the Fall of Arnor would be probably the coolest one. Or if I was just doing it just a one-off film, you could do a film like directly before the Lord of the Rings, and you could kind of do some things where it's like Osgiliath, like them losing the East Side and stuff like that, and kind of like seeing how Sauron's power continues to grow.
What about a show with the blue?
That'd be cool because
That'd be cool.
the adventures of the Blue Wizards as they go into the
I think
east.
that'd
Same
be
thing to you.
fantastic if done
Yeah.
well.
Why would it be just?
And you have intrigue on the ending because we don't know their ending. They just
We don't really know
disappear
like
from
much
history.
about them.
Yeah. Because you can even start it with Sauron, because Sauron goes with them and then he comes back, but they stay there. You do a lot of interesting things with like Adventures of the Blue Wizards. Because I mean, think about it. There's not a lot of lore, so like us people or like people that are in the community where they're like stick to the lore. It's like, well, we don't know much about the Blue Wizards' time there, so you can pretty much make up whatever you want to make up.
Something like that. They started a magic cult or something. Is that one of the things?
Yeah, one of the things is like the Blue Wizards basically like they kind of quote unquote got corrupted, but they were kind of maybe helping teach magic on the East, the men of the East that end up kind of going to Sauron's side. So yeah.
Oh, so they also got.
Yeah. Well, okay, we're not 100% sure, right?
Could be
It could be,
hypothetical.
but like, there's a lot of theories on what happened to them.
The whole show could have been about one blue wizard and bad guy. And it's like, oh
That'd be
my
really
God.
good because they were like good friends too.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
no, I'm blue. You're also blue. Can't
No,
do
I always
it.
The
assumed
Adventures
they
of
were
Tom
blues.
Bombadil. That's what we need. That's what we need right there. That's what we need. I'd pay to see that. Just
We
to
need
have
a
him just
buddy
going
comedy.
Bombadil, just going around the forest. That'd be good.
Just poetry.
Oh, that's what we get. That's what we get. We get a about a hour and a half movie of the part that wasn't in Fellowship of the Ring, where they get lost in the old forest, and then Tom Bombadil comes and rescues them. And then we have the Barrow Downs part. There you go. We just take the part they didn't put in the Fellowship of the Ring, and we just make that our movie.
Dude, I would be happy with just like a 2-hour movie of the Treebeard like council having that discussion that took a whole day or whatever.
We do that.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd like to see a war in the North during the War of the Ring. Oh, that's a good one.
That video game,
Be
like,
so
I never
cool.
completed that video.
It's not lore accurate, I don't
That
think.
was a glorious video game, though. I'm not
But
gonna
that'd be
lie.
really cool if we saw the other events going on in the world, like during the War of the Ring. So we saw kind of the battle at Erebor and kind of the war with like at Dol Guldur and stuff. Yeah, it could be like the assault on Erebor, basically.
What if we flip it and we have a movie all about like from Sauron's point of view?
That would be cool because we never see it from Sauron's
Yeah.
point of view. Maybe Sauron's a good guy.
Yeah, he's like Anakin.
I mean, because if we look off of Rings of Power, everybody's being discriminatory towards each other. The orcs seem like they hate everybody.
I think it'd be kind of cool to like see a movie of like Saruman's like fall or whatever.
That'd be
like, when
cool.
when he joins Sauron.
Kind of like a Sauron's life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like Hobbit ends where he's gonna go.
That's a
pursue Sauron,
lot of.
right?
That is a yeah. That'd be interesting because that would be a lot of material. You'd have to like cover him coming into Middle Earth and being like developing how he was always jealous of Gandalf, and then you could do the
Yeah,
similarities
like
Get
between.
all in one big old flashback scene.
We should start a GoFundMe page to make these films. We should. Or, hear me out, guys. We take control of Amazon.
We buy out Amazon.
We just buy out
We can do
Amazon.
it better.
Send donations in. We need Amazon money.
It's a lot of money.
What is the difference between Damon Targaryen and Damon Blackfire? Well, for one, Damon Targaryen is prominent in the show House of the Dragon, so he's in the Dance of the Dragons period. He's a full-blown Targaryen. Damon Blackfire is basically a bastard of a king that gets basically raised to a legit heir, right? More or less. And he is given the sword Blackfire, more or less. And it starts an entire Blackfire rebellion. There's a big like time period difference between the two. Also, Damon Targaryen was a dragon rider, so.
I don't remember the stuff happening
Damon
in Lord of the
Targaryen
Rings.
was also in Morbius, the movie.
By the way, my name is Molam. How do I say your name? I don't know. How would I say that name? Right there. I'm not good with name pronunciation.
Moamo. Momo? Is it
Momo?
pronounced like Mo as in like M-O-Mo, or is it like a
Yeah, I'm not sure how
That's
to
interesting.
say that name, but let me know. a show about the Second Age, just focusing on the elves, skipping 100 years between seasons and showing the Numenorians change and fall. Yeah, that'd be cool. It's kind of what we was kind of hoping this show would be, but they've developed things like the Harfoots and condensed it all down.
Hey, I like the Harfoot.
Good Saruman presented as a pseudo-Promethean figure during religious engineering through displaying powers and knowledge. Yes, kind of, yeah. Because he's of basically the same idea of like people like Gandalf and Saruman, basically. So yes, I like Saruman's line in The Hobbit. It's not that it's his obsession of mushrooms. They have yellow teeth.
When you talk about Reddit,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Damon is the rightful king. I don't know about that one, Jesse. I don't know. I kind of disagree with you on that one.
Spoiler stuff.
No, it's Blackfire stuff. You have no idea what they're talking about.
Blackfire, that's from Teen Titans.
One of the Hey,
Oh,
our boy, Brett, your boy, Young Griff. That's
Yeah.
We're talking about kind of his
Oh, you
his
love to hear it.
ancestors.
You love to hear it.
Galadriel was supposed to be a philosopher queen using ancient wisdom acquired from birth plus alliance, but no, it will be fight and more fight apparently. Agreed. And also it'll be her being a little brat and a bitch the whole time.
She is such a bitch in this. I do not like her at all in the show. Oh, it just gripes me.
Grinds my gears.
Oh boy, I tell you what.
Mar, tell me how to pronounce your name.
I dare you. I assume we didn't say it right.
We definitely didn't say it right.
I want to say Wammel. Wammel.
Wammel, maybe? It's
there's a
Well,
Goblin's gonna
Wammel?
more.
This is okay. Get back. Okay, this is some Americans trying to pronounce names. We're not good at it.
I think it's Wammel. Wammel. Is that? Did I say it right?
Mar, did he say it right? That's kind of how he pronounced it.
Wammel.
Like it's
You grab that nose.
Nah, I think Wammel. I don't.
Galadriel hasn't done a single bit of magic yet. Crazy. Yeah, she's not the same character.
Oh,
When
there's
she jumped
magic
into the
in
ocean
here?
was gonna swim back. She could have done some magic.
Oh boy.
Dude, I don't know why she didn't just 1v1 that worm.
I don't
I
know
want to see the worm.
why Celeborn's not in the show.
The worm.
Well, I guess Galadriel can't have a husband. I guess that's just not okay.
He's married by this.
Yeah.
Did Galadriel ever have kids?
I know she's the... Yes, I'm pretty sure, yeah?
I think so.
Because Arwen is like a granddaughter, I think. Hold on. Let's do a little research.
You know, fun fact is
Yes, we're
Arwen and Aragorn, they're like technically like distant cousins.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Galadriel had a daughter who married Elrond. Okay, that's what I thought. So yeah, so Galadriel would basically be
Mother-in-law.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because we
So
talked
he-
about that in episode 1 and 2, that Galadriel is like gonna be Elrond's like stepmom, whatever.
I guess I didn't say it.
No? What part are we messing up?
Yeah, I'm curious. I want to be more educated in the world and say names right. Seeing the Muppets. Phenomena. Boom. Phenomena.
Maybe it's like Mu'amul. Like maybe there's like a little pause in there.
Maybe.
You never know.
That's what I thought, Jesse. I wanted to make sure. I didn't want to spread lies on. But yeah, it's a bit awkward when you kind of look back on that. Will Jon Snow live a second life? Yes. Yes. I've done it. If you want to watch the video, I did a video talking about the stone dragon theory. That's how I think he's going to get brought back. Jon and Rickon. I think Jon will probably rule over, because Rickon technically is the person that'll probably...
Spoiling stuff right now, boy?
This is for the books.
Okay.
Rickon's dead in the show. What are we talking about?
Oh yeah.
He's the kid that couldn't zigzag.
I'm thinking Fran.
I'm gonna be honest, you guys lost me a long time ago.
But yeah, I think John will basically be like the person that rules because Rickon's too young and he's kind of wild. But unless you guys have anything else to talk about, I think this is where we're gonna end it. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about on the
I'm all
episode?
talked out.
I don't have anything to talk about. So
I do have one thing to say, actually.
Dr.
It's
Pepper, brand deal?
yeah, it actually is. If you guys haven't already, please make sure to enjoy the wonderful taste of a Dr. Pepper.
registered trademark.
Yeah,
Trademark.
of course.
Also, Aquafina. I haven't had an Aquafina on stream in a while, so I'm sorry about that, guys. It's been very disappointing these last like week and a half.
Frank milk. Milk is good.
I'll try to remember to get you some Aquafina.
I had a nice bowl of tapioca pudding. Yum.
Ooh.
But
I actually got a blizzard from DQ. I'm waiting for the stream to be over so I can eat.
Man, that's melted by now.
I agree, Raphael. I agree.
It's in the freezer.
I would hope so.
Okay, so everybody good? Nothing else they want to say to
Yeah.
stream? All right.
Yeah, I think that's good.
All right. Well, we will be back for episode 4. Hopefully, it somehow gets better. And I will see you guys for House of the Dragon on Sunday.
Bye,
Yep.
gamers.
Bye, guys.
Bye game.
Bye.
Oh, I started recording.
Oh.
Ooh. Watch stream.